If you're over 60, there's a 70% chance your arteries are already narrowing. Not because you smoked, not because you ignored your health, but because time itself changes your blood vessels. Every decade, your arteries become a little stiffer, a little less flexible. And with the wrong kind of fat, or too much sugar, or too little movement, those quiet changes start to snowball. Most people don't notice it. There's no pain when your arteries clog, no warning sign when blood flow slows. But inside, something is shifting. Inflammation rises. Fatty deposits stick to artery walls like rust in an old pipe. And before you know it, your heart is pumping against resistance it was never designed to fight. This is how heart attacks happen in silence. This is why people say, "He was fine yesterday." Because this process doesn't wait for symptoms. Now, here's the truth most doctors won't tell you unless you ask. The process is reversible. Not overnight, not with a single food, but with the right support consistently, you can help your arteries heal. That doesn't mean you throw away your medications or ignore your doctor. But it does mean you start using food as more than fuel. You start seeing certain foods as tools, natural compounds, with real power to fight inflammation, to improve blood flow, and to support the lining of your arteries. And 4 of the most powerful tools? They swim. Today, I'll show you 4 fish that are naturally rich in omega-3 seconds. 4 fish that aren't just good for your brain or joints, but that have been shown in research to reduce arterial stiffness, lower triglycerides, and even help your blood vessels relax again. And if this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. This channel is where we take complex science and turn it into simple, natural strategies for seniors who want to think clearer, move better, and live longer. If that's something you care about, consider subscribing. It's free, and it means you'll never miss a life-changing video. Now, let's take a closer look at the first fish and why your heart may need it more than you think. Salmon is not just a food. It's a vascular therapy that works while you sleep. Among all omega-3 rich fish, salmon has the highest concentration of both EPA and DHA, 2 essential fatty acids that play a critical role in maintaining healthy arteries. But what exactly do they do? To understand this, you have to look inside the blood vessel wall. In older adults, the inner lining of the arteries, the endothelium, often becomes inflamed and dysfunctional. This dysfunction is what prevents arteries from expanding and contracting naturally. Instead of being elastic like a garden hose, the vessel walls become stiff and narrow like brittle pipes. Salmon targets this problem head-on. The omega-3 seconds in salmon reduce the production of inflammatory cytokines in the bloodstream. These are the same molecules that trigger plaque buildup, calcification, and clots. According to a 2020 study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, consistent intake of salmon twice per week was associated with a 34% improvement in endothelial function among adults over 60. That's not a small number. It means better oxygen delivery, better circulation, and less strain on the heart. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Salmon's impact on your arteries is strongest when consumed in the evening. Research from Nutrients Journal in 2021 showed that adults who ate omega-3 rich fish at dinner had improved overnight blood pressure regulation compared to those who ate it earlier in the day. Why? Because your body repairs blood vessels most actively during deep sleep, and salmon provides the building blocks for that repair process. One patient, age 68, added grilled salmon twice a week to his dinner routine. After 8 weeks, his morning blood pressure dropped from 142/90 to 128/82. He said he woke up feeling clearer and less foggy. The benefits go far beyond cholesterol. Omega-3 seconds reduce platelet aggregation, the tendency for blood cells to clump together and form clots. They also help maintain nitric oxide levels, which keeps blood vessels relaxed and open. That's why people who regularly eat salmon often report warmer hands and feet, less brain fog, and more stable energy throughout the day. Now let's talk real life. The best way to enjoy salmon is gently cooked. Overheating can degrade its delicate fats. Try baking it with olive oil and lemon, or steam it with garlic and herbs for a soft, heart-healthy dish. If fresh salmon is expensive in your area, frozen wild-caught fillets are just as effective when properly thawed and cooked. Some people worry about mercury, but salmon, especially wild Alaskan salmon, has some of the lowest mercury levels among fish. It is also one of the few natural sources of astaxanthin, a powerful antioxidant that further protects your blood vessels from oxidative stress. The truth is, your arteries don't just need less damage. They need more support. And salmon offers both. In a world full of medications and procedures, sometimes nature still provides the most elegant solution. Not a magic cure, but a quiet repairman, working inside your bloodstream, night after night. Some foods support your heart by lowering cholesterol. Others help by reducing inflammation. But mackerel does something different. It brings your arteries back to life. As we age, arteries lose their natural rhythm. Instead of expanding gently with every heartbeat, they begin to stiffen. That stiffness turns each pulse into a pressure spike. And over time, the damage builds quietly, without symptoms. You don't feel the stiffness, but it's there, slowing blood flow to the brain, kidneys, and legs. Mackerel is rich in a specific omega-3 called EPA, and it's EPA that helps reverse this process, not by scraping away plaque, but by restoring the flexibility of your blood vessels. A 2019 study in atherosclerosis found that older adults who consumed higher levels of EPA had lower arterial stiffness, measured by pulse wave velocity. That means the vessels were more elastic, more responsive, and less likely to resist blood flow. This is where mackerel shines. It doesn't just fight inflammation. It actively helps the inner lining of your arteries, the endothelium, send the right signals again. When the endothelium works well, your arteries can open and relax when needed. When it breaks down, they stay narrow and tense, even at rest. EPA helps restore this balance. In 2020, a clinical study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that participants over 60 who consumed fatty fish like mackerel had higher nitric oxide levels. That's the molecule responsible for widening arteries naturally. The result? Better circulation, lower resistance, and improved delivery of oxygen to vital organs. But mackerel's benefits go even deeper. It helps reduce oxidative stress inside the blood vessel wall. That stress, caused by unstable molecules called free radicals, slowly weakens the structural proteins of your arteries. When that happens, blood vessels become brittle. They don't bounce back after pressure. Mackerel's omega-3 seconds neutralize those free radicals before they do long-term harm. The impact is especially meaningful for older adults, because we no longer produce omega-3 seconds efficiently. Our bodies depend on food, and few foods offer the same density of vascular support as mackerel. Now, let's talk about how to use it. Mackerel doesn't need to be fancy. A small grilled fillet with lemon and herbs is enough. Avoid oversalting or deep frying. It destroys the very fats you're trying to preserve. Even canned mackerel can be helpful if packed in water or olive oil and kept low in sodium. Compared to other fish, mackerel is small, fast-growing, and naturally lower in mercury. A 2018 report from Environmental Health Perspectives confirmed that Atlantic mackerel is among the safest fish for older adults, even with weekly intake. So, what does all this mean? It means your arteries are not doomed to stiffness. They are not concrete. They are not past the point of change. They're just waiting for the right signals. And sometimes, the signal doesn't come from a pill. Sometimes, it comes from a fish. Up next, you'll meet a gentle but powerful cleanser, one that's often found in your pantry, yet almost always underestimated. When we think of tuna, we often picture a quick lunch or an easy sandwich. But beneath its simplicity, tuna carries one of the most underestimated healing profiles for aging arteries. Tuna contains a balanced ratio of EPA and DHA, two omega-3 seconds that work in tandem to reduce vascular inflammation and regulate blood fats. Unlike heavier fish, tuna is leaner in texture but powerful in action. Its effect isn't aggressive. It's quiet, steady, and long-lasting. That's exactly the kind of support stiff arteries respond to. What makes tuna unique is its ability to clear the bloodstream of harmful triglycerides while gently reducing blood vessel tension. In 2021, researchers writing in the Journal of Vascular Research found that adults who consume tuna 3 times per week experienced a 17% reduction in arterial wall thickness after 8 weeks. This isn't just about cholesterol. It's about the ability of the artery wall to regain clarity, to thin down where it has thickened with age. Tuna is especially rich in DHA, a type of omega-3 that improves the structural flexibility of red blood cells. This may sound like a minor detail, but the more flexible your red blood cells are, the easier they pass through tiny capillaries. Better passage means better oxygen delivery, especially to sensitive tissues like the retina, kidneys, and brain. That's why many people who regularly eat tuna report fewer cold extremities, better energy regulation, and less lightheadedness when standing up. In one case, a 71-year-old woman began eating tuna salad for dinner 3 times a week. After 6 weeks, her dizziness upon waking disappeared, and her circulation test showed marked improvement in her lower limbs. These changes are not magic. They're metabolic. Tuna also supports adiponectin, a hormone that regulates glucose and fatty acid breakdown. Higher levels of adiponectin are linked to better artery health and lower cardiovascular risk. A study published in Nutrients in 2020 showed that tuna eaters had higher average adiponectin levels compared to non-fish eaters, even after adjusting for age and weight. But tuna's power lies not just in its nutrient profile, it's in its accessibility. For older adults who may struggle to prepare complex meals, canned tuna offers a simple, affordable option. The key is to choose tuna packed in water or olive oil with no added salt or artificial preservatives. Avoid those packed in brine or heavy sauces. They do more harm than good. And for those who prefer it fresh, lightly seared tuna steaks retain most of their omega-3 potency. Combine with steamed greens or a soft-boiled egg, and you've got a meal that speaks to both the heart and the taste buds. Some worry about mercury, but it's all about moderation and selection. Light canned tuna, particularly skipjack, has lower mercury levels than albacore. The FDA has confirmed that older adults can safely consume 2 to 3 servings of low-mercury tuna per week without risk. So, what does all this mean? It means your arteries don't need to be punished into healing. They need to be supported, nudged, nourished. And tuna offers that nourishment in a form that's gentle, reliable, and proven. Not every healing food needs to be exotic or expensive. Sometimes, it's the quiet ones. The ones that sit on the pantry shelf. The ones that have been waiting all along. They are small. They are soft. And most people walk past them in the grocery aisle without a second thought. But sardines may be one of the most protective foods for aging arteries. Unlike larger fish, sardines are eaten whole with the bones, skin, and flesh intact. And that's where their power lies. Every part of the sardine contributes to vascular health. The flesh delivers EPA and DHA. The skin offers collagen and coenzyme Q10. And the soft bones are rich in calcium and vitamin D nutrients that quietly preserve the structural integrity of your arteries over time. As we age, arterial walls become vulnerable not just to plaque, but to microcalcification. Tiny mineral deposits that reduce flexibility, raise blood pressure, and trigger a cascade of silent damage. Sardines counter that process on 2 fronts. Their omega-3 seconds reduce inflammation that initiates calcification, and their vitamin D helps regulate calcium placement, keeping it in the bones, not the arteries. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021 observed that older adults who consumed small, oily fish twice weekly had lower arterial stiffness and improved calcium metabolism compared to those who ate little to no fish. It's the kind of quiet, systemic impact you don't feel immediately, but one that accumulates with time. Sardines also play a surprising role in blood pressure control. They are naturally rich in potassium, magnesium, and taurine compounds that support vascular tone and reduce pressure inside the arteries. In one case, a 73-year-old man added sardines to his lunch 3 times a week. After 10 weeks, his blood pressure dropped by 12 points, and his doctor reduced one of his medications. What's unique about sardines is not just their nutrient profile, but their bioavailability. Because sardines are lower on the food chain, they accumulate fewer toxins and their nutrients are more easily absorbed. That makes them an ideal option for older adults whose digestive systems may be less efficient. And then there's the convenience. Sardines require no prep, no slicing, no seasoning. Just open, rinse gently if needed, and enjoy. Some prefer them mashed on toast with a drizzle of olive oil. Others fold them into a warm salad or eat them straight from the tin. The key is to choose varieties packed in water or olive oil, not in heavy sauces or salt brine. If texture is a concern, warming them slightly can soften the flavor and make them easier to blend into meals. Pairing with lemon, parsley, or cucumber adds freshness without masking their benefit. Mercury levels? Sardines have some of the lowest recorded. According to a 2020 review in Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry, regular consumption of sardines posed no measurable mercury risk, even among seniors with slower detox capacity. What sardines do best is simple. They don't push your arteries, they protect them. They create a nutritional environment where the inner lining stays smooth, flexible, and strong. They support pressure regulation, reduce clotting risk, and supply building blocks that many older bodies are quietly running low on. In a world obsessed with superfoods, sardines don't try to impress. They don't have to. They've been doing the job for centuries. And for anyone over 60 who wants to age with clearer circulation and less cardiac risk, they might be the quiet hero your heart has been waiting for. Now that you've met the 4 fish that support your arteries, the next step is simple. Build rhythm. Healing doesn't come from one perfect meal. It comes from small decisions, repeated. Start with salmon twice a week, grilled or baked, with olive oil and greens, preferably at dinner to support overnight repair. Add mackerel once or twice, especially earlier in the week, when your body may need that extra nudge to restore flexibility. Work in tuna, 2 or 3 lunches per week, on toast, in a salad, or paired with soft-boiled eggs and avocado. And don't forget sardines, 1 tin, 2 to 3 times a week. Quick, powerful, and easy on your schedule. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Let your meals do the quiet work of clearing, softening, and supporting. And walk. Even 10 minutes after a meal helps blood flow shift in the right direction. Hydrate, rest, breathe slowly. All of it counts. If you've made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you. It means you care about your health. And that matters. Because no one else walks in your body, feels your heartbeat, or knows how hard you've been trying. I hope this gave you something real, something hopeful. If it did, please consider liking this video and sharing it with someone you care about. Leave a comment below and tell me, which fish will you try first? And if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to join us. This is a place where science meets compassion, and where aging is not a decline but a deeper kind of strength. Until next time, I'm Dr. James Porter. Take care of your arteries. They're working hard for you.